Hi, my name's Chris Jones. I'm the principal of strategy and engineering at Hot Studio, a user experience design studio in San Francisco and New York City. And what I want to talk about are some observations and models around how our virtual worlds and our physical worlds are becoming more and more entwined. It was really brought on by the release of Tron Legacy later this year and reflecting back on the original release in 1982 and how far we've come. I'm certainly not talking about Hollywood immersive experiences, and I also, in a way, want to stay away a little bit from the Second Life and Avatar worlds, although I think they're relevant and really great possibilities. But I think what I want to focus on is sort of the mass experiences that people are having in a couple of different areas. The first is sensing. How are we sensing our world, and how has that really changed? We look at the emergence of augmented reality, that is overlaying information on top of video playback, or games that actually are using both artifacts from the real world and the virtual world. There's location-based services that are telling me things about the people around me and the places around me that I wouldn't really have another way of experiencing, and it changes my perception of those physical spaces, and if they're important to me or how important they are to me. There's real estate out there. New real estate has been created virtually for quite a while, since really the advent, of bulletin boards and the internet, and the domain name space with people setting up websites. Those are really places, virtual places that we can experience. But I think as with the advent of social networks like Facebook, these virtual places have become really an integral part of how we live and work together. And I'm not necessarily talking about destinations you go to, but they're spaces that I interact in, either on a mobile device or a laptop or a desktop, that are just important to me as my experiences I have at my desk or in the office in a meeting room. And then the last bit I want to talk about are sort of the delivery of news, and we've moved from the day-long news cycle where newspapers were really valid to the 5-minute news cycle where broadcast was really valid. Now the real-time news networks where the internet and Twitter and Facebook and who knows what else is next are really going to be pushing forward. And how those systems are, the algorithms behind their delivery in terms of what is paid, what's the highest value, what are the trends, what I should be watching, are far more complicated to understand than a broadcast television station or the printing press of the New York Times. These are processes that are created by really smart, mathematicians and statisticians and linguists to create the best possible news experience, and how that's really changing how we make a decision on a day-to-day basis in the real world. So those are some broad topics, but I really do think that there is an argument to be made that our physical world and our virtual worlds are really entwined together, and it's going to be harder and harder to distinguish between the two when you really get down to it. Certainly, we're not going to be replacing the flesh of my body anytime soon, but the flesh of my body is experiencing the virtual world just as much as it's experiencing the real world. Thank you. Looking forward to it.